All right, I just want to clarify right off the bat, this is wet, not greasy. Normally I wouldn't care as much, but seeing as that we're all home, I just want to let you guys know I'm showering, okay? But hi guys, this actually is a very different video than what I had planned to upload. I actually did vlog yesterday and today, but I just couldn't upload it. I couldn't do it. So if I may go on a tangent right off the bat, to me, writing and really all art does two things, and sometimes it does those two things at once and sometimes it does them separately. It is either a distraction or it's a relation. So, you know, when we're writing or when we're reading or whatever, specifically when we're taking in art, we either do it as a distraction of our own life or we do it as a way that to make us feel like we're not alone, like someone can relate to us. And the reason I am refilming this video is because I tried to be the former. I made a vlog, or started filming a vlog yesterday and this morning, that I thought was what you guys and really myself needed the most, and that was a distraction. But what ended up happening was that it was extremely inauthentic. You know, I came on saying how happy I was for Camp NaNoWriMo and like so excited to write and blah blah blah, and I've tried to avoid talking about what's currently going on in the world, and the problem with that is that it's a huge lie, because the truth is I cannot stop thinking about what's going on in the world, and as much as I love Camp NaNoWriMo, I do not feel any excitement for it right now. Like, if it was next month instead of this month, I would love that, I would embrace that, but it is what it is. You know, this channel, and this is sort of a comment I get all the time, is that you guys enjoy how authentic I am. And that is something I take so much pride in. I'm not on here like acting chipper and pretending that, you know, everything is fine and dandy all the time and that, you know, all I care about is crushing my goals. Like, I want to be real. I want to tell you guys my doubts. I want to tell you my weaknesses, just because for me, that's the sort of art I enjoy, is that relatability. Those are the kind of books I like to read. Those are the kind of TV shows I like to watch. That is why I became a writer, to let my readers know they're not alone and just to have that connection. I don't really enjoy purely distractionary reading, which I don't think any books are purely distraction, but the thing that's coming to mind is like, but I'm currently trying my hardest to get through a romance book and I just cannot right now. Like, it's making me so irrationally angry, and I feel like I'm being really unfair to the author because they just wrote, you know, a fun, light rom-com, but I just have zero connection with the main character, especially with what's going on right now, and it kind of relates to what is going on with my writing. I admit I have had a pretty cushy life compared to so many people. Obviously, I'm not like super wealthy, and it's not like I've never experienced hardship or dealt with difficult things, but I have never felt a threat to normalcy. I could pretty much always count on so many things in life. Like, my day-to-day never felt heavily threatened. And obviously that is what we are all experiencing right now, is that threat to normalcy. And that's why I feel like we are all so uncomfortable right now. And so a lot of the books I read do tend to have that threat in them, especially with adventure, because that's sort of like, adventure is all about shaking up your normalcy and going out on this quest and going out of your comfort zone. That's putting it lightly. But what I'm saying is, like, my everyday problems have always felt smaller compared to a lot of the characters I'm reading about or writing about. And for the first time in my life, I feel like I have so little sympathy for so many characters, whether it's in other books or especially in my own, which gets me to why I can't stand reading this romance book right now, because it's like, oh my god, like, he's a jerk, just break up with him, and then there, like, problem solved in 5 pages. It's making me so mad. That's not the point. But even in my own writing. So basically, what happened was yesterday I sat down to write. First day of Camp NaNoWriMo. gonna write and gonna dive back into my story and deal with my character's issues and all that good stuff. And I couldn't do it. Like, I couldn't write a single word. The only thing I did was struggle to try and just read my first chapter, which I couldn't do, or I did add a word because there was a missing word, so it was a typo. So I wrote one word. But yeah, I couldn't even read it because suddenly it just all felt so stupid. I mean, my characters are going to obviously face real problems, but just like with what's going on in the world right now, it's just so much bigger. And it's bigger than, unfortunately, so many even horror books delve into. Because it's not just like one individual problem, it's a global problem. So yeah, I'm struggling to feel sympathetic towards my characters, and I don't know if anyone else is going through this right now or just goes through it in general when they've been grieving or been afraid or had depression or anxiety. But yeah, it's just like I feel like I can't stop thinking about what's happening. I can't go into this world that just suddenly feels so irrelevant to what's happening right now. People have been talking about how this is a great time to catch up on your reading, and I have not read a single piece of fiction since this started because I can't. Like, it just all feels so insignificant. That's what I'm trying to say. It feels insignificant to what's really happening, and so it doesn't feel relatable. And that's when I learned that I enjoy the arts to make me feel related to. I don't need a distraction. I can distract myself well enough in other ways. So yeah, that's what I enjoy about reading, is it being relatable. And part of me does want to apologize because, like I said, I wanted to vlog every day, vlog Camp NaNoWriMo, vlog my writing, and be a distraction for you and for me, and to just talk about something that felt normal, talk about something that had nothing to do with the global pandemic. My plan was not even to talk about it at all, but that is just so inauthentic, and I can't do it. I just can't. It felt fake, it felt horrible, I didn't accomplish anything, so I don't, like, that's not fair, and that's not what this channel is all about. So I apologize that I can't be that distraction for you, and that, you know, if you're someone who can't, like, doesn't want to think about this anymore, that's fine, and I understand, but I have to think about it. That's the way I get through things, is by thinking about it and by talking about it. So just to give a little, like, view into my world right now. For my job, a lot of what I do is communications, and so right now I am doing a lot of communications on what is currently happening in our climate, and I work for a university, so like that whole thing has been thrown upside down as far as what's normal for our day-to-day. And so all day at home remotely, I am doing stuff that involves COVID-19 and giving updates on things and all that stuff. So I can't not think about it, and I can't not read about it. I have to look into it. So that's just one reason it's on the forefront of my mind. Another reason is my family, my immediate family especially, is all involved in either healthcare or emergency services or travel. So my dad's a pilot. He is still working during this. My mom works in a hospital. She only just got switched to remote. She was still going in every day. And my brother works in the emergency room. So obviously he's an emergency room registration person, whatever that's called. I don't know his official title. But so he is literally the front of the storm. And then there's me. And part of the reason I've kind of been struggling is because they're all in Maine and they all live alone, and like my mom and dad aren't together and they are living by themselves right now. My brother lives by himself, and here I am. I get the luxury of having my husband to live with, so I'm not alone, and I'm working a cushy job where I don't feel threatened with my health by any means. and yet all of my family is at the forefront. And okay, it's just really hard to feel like I'm so thankful for people who are doing it, and this is going to sound so selfish. I'm so thankful for people who are working during all of this, and like, obviously our society needs it, but I just wish it wasn't my family. And I know that makes me really selfish, because obviously everyone is someone else's family, and so I admit that I'm very selfish like that. And so that's just been hard to feel like, you know, I just wish I could trade places with them. And I just feel so much guilt that like I get to be so comfortable and like not be at risk. It's like I feel like in a way my whole family is like at war right now, and I'm just sitting back just staying at home. And so I do feel really guilty about that, and I feel guilty that they're alone. I think above all else, virus aside, I just know that they're all struggling by not having the luxury of having someone to live with. And you know, part of me wishes that, well, I can, my like brother would at least like move in with my mom or something, but unfortunately, because he is in the emergency room, he can't, because my mom is high risk, being over 65. So, you know, like, I actually got pretty upset the other day because he like visited her because she really needed it, and it's like really hard. Like, I understand you have to protect physical health, but when mental health is struggling, like, both are equally important. Anyway, so I'm feeling all these emotions clearly, and so it's hard for me to get into my world, my writing world, because it just feels so insignificant to my real world. And I think in a way it's because I am a novice writer. I'm sure expert writers and creators will tell you that's just part of the game, but for me, I can't like ignore my real life emotions. And so I guess one thing I want to work on this month, because this is not, unfortunately, going to be, I'm positive, the last time I'm going to feel like my world is crashing. You know what I mean? Like, unfortunately, grief is something that comes with life. And I want to be a writer. I don't want to just be a writer on the good days. I want to be a writer all the time. And so, trying to tie it back to Camp NaNoWriMo, I really want to take this opportunity to help this make my writing better. You know, I'm feeling things, I haven't really felt this extreme before, and you know, trying to relate it to my current story that I'm working on. My characters too experience, or will experience in later chapters, hasn't happened yet, sort of a flip of their normal. They find out the world is threatened, and they dive in trying to fix it. And so, and there's other emotions in there too, where, so just to give a quick glimpse of my story, half of my characters are, they possess certain powers. They're, you know, the superheroes, if you want to relate it that way, that can save things, save the world. But my other main character, Paul, he is, oh, Kimmy wants to get out. Sorry, Kim. I don't know if you can see her. Where is she? My other main character and his close cousin, they're just normal people. And so it's like, it's a dual point of view where one character has a superpower and one doesn't. And it's like, they're both equally strong in the story. And so, you know, trying to like use my own feelings and putting it into my story to make it more authentic and relatable and just genuine all around. I feel like I relate a lot more to Paul, the one who does not have powers, and Jess. I'll talk more about my story later. Maybe that's what I'll start filming about, is like talking about my story, because why not? I don't really care if people know what it's about in more detail. Yeah, and like thinking about how that must really feel, to feel as if you want to help but you're expected not to. And I don't know, obviously that's a thing that's been explored before, but just to experience it myself for the first time in real life, like I realized just how terrible and debilitating and hopeless it can feel. Okay, Kim, hold on. And then on the other side of it, you know, I almost had the urge, like, so I went on a walk before I started filming this because I was just upset with the fact that I couldn't write yesterday, and I was upset with how my vlog was going because it just didn't feel authentic. And I went on a walk to try and figure my story out and figure out what was causing the blockage of writing. And I realized it's because, like I said, I wasn't relating to my story anymore, just with the extreme nature of things. And I almost had this urge to like make it more modern, like put it in the pandemic now. And like that almost sounded like a fun idea, but then I was like, no, it wouldn't serve the story I'm trying to tell. And like, it just, you can't have a pandemic be the subplot. It kind of is like the main plot. And so it just would have been, it just would have made it too much and not in a good way. So, but I realized like I do have characters that can relate. Like, so one of my characters, the other main character, so Paul is the one point of view, the normal guy, and then there's Anna, who's the superhero, and her power, she's immortal. So I was thinking, like, she has lived through this. Like, she was born, ooh, I don't want to say that, that's a spoiler. Oh my god, back up. Bloop. Delete what I just said. I just said a spoiler. She was born and did experience, she was born a long time ago, I'll say that, and she did experience the pandemics in the world and moments of where you feel like everything has flipped upside down and you lose that sense of normal. So she would have been around, for example, the 1918 Spanish flu, which we're basically like reliving, and like thinking how it must have felt for her to watch her loved ones and watch her friends and watch everything just be flipped upside down all the time, and knowing there was nothing really she could do about it, because she, and like the guilt she would feel knowing that she is safe. Because I kind of feel like that too. Like, I'm young and healthy, and obviously I know it could affect me. Like, I'm not naive. The current pandemic, I feel like almost a weird sense of guilt that it's, you know, our parents and grandparents that are at risk, and like I'm fine. And so just kind of relating to her that way. And I realized my story is relatable to my current situation, just not in perhaps a very literal sense, but there are certain emotions I can tie in. And so I really think that's going to make my story even more three-dimensional. You know, looking back at my first draft and looking at stories that I have written in the past, it's amazing just how much better I've become at making it authentic and realizing you do have to put your emotions in the story, even if it's not a literal, like, write-in as far as, you know, what's that called? Self-insert. But you can insert those emotions because those are universal, those are global. And so just to use one more example, and then I'll stop talking because it's gonna be a long video. I remember watching J.K. Rowling's documentary when she was talking about writing Harry Potter for the first time and like what that was like, and she mentioned that she got the idea quite a while before she actually sat down and started writing it. And she got the idea when her mom was still alive, but when she was done with the book, her mom had passed. So her mom passed while she was writing it. Obviously that is an extreme grief, one that I thankfully have not experienced, but it's an extreme grief that a lot of people can and will relate to. And hi, Kim. She's behind me now. Maybe it did stop her for a bit, but she found a way to weave that into her story. And she mentioned how once her mom passed away, the stories got much darker. And so I'm taking inspiration from that, just that with everything going on, instead of like just throwing my story out and being like, oh, I can't relate to it right now. Not that I should necessarily make it darker, but just, you know, these are real feelings, and if I want my characters to be real, they need to experience real feelings and deep feelings, and not just two-dimensional distractionary feelings that rom-com books seem to possess. I'm just kidding. I'm sure there's good romance books out there. This is like the first time I've read a romance book before, I am not impressed. Right, Kimmy? Come here, be my video. Want to be my video? You do. She wants to be in my video. Say hi, baby. Do you see yourself? Oh, I think she does. Do you see yourself, baby? This is Kimmy. I'm very grateful for have you. Oh, I don't think she's ever been held up to this window before. She is fascinated by the cars driving by. She always looks really freaked out. You want to get down? What did I say? Oh my god, she looks possessed. What, baby? Who's a good girl? She's like pushing away from me, but you want to get down or no? What I'm saying is that even though I wasn't excited about Camp NaNoWriMo, and I still am not excited in the way I normally am, like I'm not like, oh my god, I have to get X amount of words and write for X amount of time every day. I think this is gonna be a good thing for me, and not in a distraction way, but just in a way that's gonna help my writing improve even more. She's washing herself after I touched her. That is offensive. She distracted me with her rudeness. Okay. Just kidding. She's very nice. Actually, she's not very nice. She's a cat that does not care about being rude. I'll probably use her in the thumbnail, even though it has nothing to do with what I talked about. But cats, pets. You gonna get me the views, Kim? You gonna give me that clicks? I don't care about that. Do I? Anyway, I have to say, even though this video was a lot more somber than the vlogs were, I feel so much better doing this and refilming it, and hopefully you get more out of this than what my corny vlogs would have been. Don't scratch me while you're back there. She's gonna grab me, I know it. She grabs me when I'm not petting her. She looks like she's waiting for a grab. Potential. Don't do it. I'm gonna stand a little closer. Is anyone else afraid of their cat? She's like 5 pounds and I'm scared of her. But yeah, I already feel better about this, and I feel so much better even just filming this and like actually talking about it, because that's something I haven't really done. Like when I talk to my family and friends, I don't want to talk about like things going on, because you know, everyone wants a distraction right now, but when it comes to art and creating and writing, I want it to be real. And so hopefully that is going to make me a better writer, and hopefully you guys appreciate it in a video as well. So just to end on a note, I think I might have talked about this in my pre-NaNoWriMo vlog, but I haven't edited it yet, so I can't remember. Every day feels like 10 years. So it was only like 2 days ago, but I don't remember. I still plan to upload every day. I think that's gonna be really good for me. I think it's gonna be good about keeping my writing on the forefront. Even if it means I didn't necessarily write a lot, but just like planning wise and thinking about my characters and sort of talking to you guys about it. I don't know, I would like to share more of my story, just because I think it would be helpful to me and maybe helpful to you guys too. Because the truth is, like, if this thing does get published, which it will, but I should say when it gets published, you know, you guys will be a small, hopefully, a small percentage of my readers. So you can be in on the know of the story before you read it. Like I was always just, I've had this mentality of like, oh, keep it a secret, don't talk about it, but I kind of want to talk about it. I hope that's okay. So maybe that's what I'll start sharing more. Okay, Kimmy's just purring loudly behind me. I don't know if you hear her. So I'm gonna go. I hope you guys are all staying healthy, and I hope that if you, like me, have been feeling kind of down and feeling this urge to like distract yourself and not kind of process how you're feeling, like go for a walk and just let yourself feel it, and go when it's raining so you can cry and no one sees you. Actually, there's a lot of people out walking right now, so that's what everybody's doing because everybody's home. So it's actually not a good place to sneak away, but I don't know, for me it helps. It helps to like, helps to feel it and not to just try and tune it out and block it out. And I don't think that's a new revelation to the world of mental health, but sometimes you need the reminder. Alright, I better get back to work. I'm technically working right now, but I took a break because I needed one. Okay, bye guys, see you tomorrow.